Shalom, all praises, blessings, glories, and honors to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Racha Kodash. Double honors to my elder apostles and bishop elders of Great Millstone who have taught me this truth, as well of men of like mind. Shalom wa chasad, which means peace and mercy, to the elect of the nation of Israel, whom you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, and Israelite foreigners of the sea land of our forefathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, whom are scattered here in America, which is Babylon the Great, and abroad. To you I say Shalom, and Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Ratazah. This lesson is edifying. Now this is very major news, as this is a sign that the beast is beginning to hate the whore on a much obvious global scale, because Germany is the largest European economy in Europe and a major ally of America. And this is what Germany's economic minister, Robert Habeck, had to say concerning America most recently. Berlin denounces Washington's astronomical profiteering. Now, what does the word profiteering mean? Let's find out what the word profiteering means from the Merriams. The act or activity of making an unreasonable profit on the sale of essential goods, especially during times of emergency. Sounds very interesting, especially in regards to the Nord Stream pipelines being damaged. Who stands to profiteer from that? I wonder. Think about it. Friendly gas suppliers, particularly the U.S., have been charging enormous prices for their exports. And I'm very excited. I'm very excited because the Lord is speeding this thing up for his elect's sake. German economy minister claims the U.S. and other friendly gas suppliers states have been profiteering from the worsening energy crisis in the EU. Germany's economy minister Robert Habeck said on Wednesday, some countries, including friendly so-called ones, sometimes achieve astronomical prices for their gas. Of course, that brings with it problems that we have to talk about. Habeck said in an interview with the regional paper NAS, translated by NBC News. He called for more solidarity. Now, the word solidarity means accord, harmony, unity, agreement, concord from Washington when it comes to assisting its energy-pressed allies in Europe. Because, make no mistake, Europe is feeling the crunch. And it's only going to continue to get tighter and tighter, to the point where they'll be forced to buy extremely expensive oil slash gas from the U.S. who stands to profiteer from them doing so, because they will be paying thousands of percentages greater to the U.S. than what they would have had originally been paying to Russia. So eventually they'll put two and two together, and they'll say, you know what? America's the one that's responsible for all this mess. And eventually they're going to start to turn against America, Babylon the Great, according to biblical prophecy. So the Lord is speeding this thing up, man. This is great. This is wonderful news. Wonderful news. It says, the United States contacted us when oil prices shot up and the national oil reserves in Europe were tapped as a result. I think such solidarity would also be good for curbing gas prices, Beck suggested. And they'll also really begin to see that America is just pretty much just using them, you know, being a tyrant that's just using them as proxies. We've seen them as nothing more than proxies for their military. It says, according to the minister, the EU should pool its market power and orchestrate smart and synchronized purchasing behavior by the EU states so that individual EU countries do not outbid each other and drive up world market prices. The EU is facing a tough winter, with gas shortages predicted across the bloc due to drastically reduced Russian supplies amid the Western sanctions and recent sabotage of the Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2 gas pipelines. The U.S. likely stands to gain the most. The U.S. likely stands to gain the most from the destruction of the two undersea pipelines, which were damaged by the series of explosions off the Danish island of Bornholm last week. Now, remember what the EU said, that the culprit will face severe repercussions. Washington has for years been trying to convince European leaders to swap Russian gas for its liquefied natural gas, with Secretary of State Antony Blinken calling the sabotage of the Russian pipelines a tremendous opportunity. There you go. That's the catalyst, baby. So guess what? Keep an eye on the chip, because the Lord is speeding this thing up. Very soon, these devils are going to mandate that chip. And then keep an eye on the Middle East, the state of Israel, and Iran. Because remember, what's going to really kickstart this Star Wars woe is the least of the flock, drawing the U.S. out into the Middle East. But before all that happens, the Lord is building this thing up. This is Revelation chapter 17. I'll close out with this because I don't want to make this too long. Revelation chapter 17, verse 16. It says, and the 10 horns represents the EU, which thou sawest upon the beast, which represents NATO. These shall hate the whore. Who's the whore? America, Babylon the Great. That's the whore. And shall what? And shall make her desolate and naked. How? Because they're going to destroy her with thermonuclear fire. And shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. And that's that wound that they have laid under her, according to the book of Obadiah, the 7th verse. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee. There is no understanding in him, roughly paraphrasing the scripture. So they're going to make America, Babylon the Great, here, according to biblical prophecy, desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire, hot blazing fire. Hot blazing freaking fire. But anyway, fire from those nuclear missiles, that is. So with that, I will say shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Achakudash, man. Man, this is what great news. What great news. Shalom.